Tell me in the comments below, have you been stopping because you don't want to put yourself out there before you have the most perfect branding, the most perfect design? I've heard this so many times, and you have to get started. Hey everyone, Jaleesa Smith here, online business coach, and I am here to help you get your messages out of your head, into your heart, and out into the world. We are still in our personal branding series. Now, are you excited? Because I'm pretty excited about this. So last week we discussed 3 steps to building a strong personal brand using social media. And if you missed it, I'll link it up here or right here. It'll be up here somewhere in the cards. Before we get into the topic of this video, which are the personal branding do's and don'ts, I have 10 for you, so we're gonna get started very fast. Make sure that you hit the notification bell. Well, subscribe first if you haven't subscribed already, and then hit the notification bell so you can know exactly when I am posting, so you are never left out. And also, this helps my channel to grow. So if you show up, I show up, I show up, you show up. This is like a mutually beneficial thing. You get what I'm saying? Now, without further ado, let's get into the 10 personal branding do's and don'ts so you understand how to build a strong, sustainable, and solid foundation for your future online business. So these are not in any particular order, just an FYI. There's no ranking system here, so let's just get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is don't overconsume content. Now, sometimes, you know, when you first get into something, you first want to start building your brand, and you find someone who's in your niche and in your industry, and you're so excited, and you just soak up all their content, and you're just looking at all their stuff. Like, they have a blog, they have a podcast, you get on their email list, all these things. That's all great. But then you find the next person because that person did a podcast interview with that person, and you go and look at all their stuff, and then you go down the rabbit hole of all these awesome content creators who've been doing this for years and who are super mega successful, and you just look up to them. But oh my gosh, you are over consuming content. It's going to cloud your own voice. How are you ever going to discover your own voice if you're constantly in consumption mode of other people's content? Because I've done that before, and it just kind of leaves you in analysis paralysis. It just leaves you pretty much wondering, like, okay, so what do I say? And am I even speaking in my own voice, or am I just saying this because somebody else said this? And piggybacking off of that, a do is to consume content from the same people. This is going to help you to really have a consistent message, right? And actually have consistency in your research that you do, in your market research. And it's going to help you to avoid a lot of the confusion that can come with hearing one thing from one person and then hearing something else from the other person about the same topic, especially when you are first, you know, starting out and starting in your industry and building your personal brand. You don't have time for that. There's so much to learn. You can get overwhelmed very easily. So in order to like cut down on all that, just stick to this content from the same people. Trust me. Just trust me on this, okay? So our next do and don't piggyback off each other, which is what most of these do. Don't spend too much time on social media, okay? However, what you should do is spend time on social media and study your craft and study similar accounts to yours. I don't want you to spend all of your idle time on social media, okay? We all know there are studies that show that that can lead to, you know, dissatisfaction in yourself, and, you know, it really affects our happiness, which if you are not happy, it's very, very hard to get into content creation mode and to be super inspired and all these things, because you kind of end up just comparing yourself to other people on there. Even if you are the most self-assured, like, you know, hater blocker person on hater blocker. So protect your peace, people, and really monitor the time that you're spending on social media, and also use your time intentionally on social media. So what I do, I consider myself like a social media ninja now. I go in when I'm posting and I post something, and then I spend some time engaging with people who are engaging with my post, and then I get out. And then when I have, you know, some more time, these are usually in like 15-minute increments throughout the day. What I do is I'll go in at one point and I'll just respond to DMs, and then I'll go out. I won't just be scrolling the gram, you know what I mean? So our next do's and don'ts, or don'ts and do's, is do not create or share content that is irrelevant to your brand, okay? It's not going to make sense to your audience. They're going to be confused, and you don't have the time or the luxury to confuse your audience. They don't want to be confused about what you do and what you don't do, and what you like and what you don't like. Like, no, just share intentional content and content that is connected to your brand in some kind of way. Do plan ahead and create a content strategy so that you can avoid things like sharing content that is not relevant to your brand, okay? Creating a content strategy is admittedly something that I kind of ran away from in the past, because to me, the way I am, if I'm very creative and flowy, and if you say strategy and plans and structure to me, I'm like, oh my God, it gives me a little bit of anxiety. However, it's absolutely necessary, so you know what you're posting, you know what's coming next, you know what you're posting next, and you have a plan and a strategy so that you actually understand how everything that you share and that you create is connected to itself, and everything has to be connected across all platforms, okay? So our next do and don't, and I've already lost count, so I'm just gonna put the number in here somewhere if I can even figure out how to edit my video like that, because I'm still working on that too. But don't try to grow on different platforms all at once, okay? However, do be present across different platforms. A lot of the people, when you hear a lot of the gurus talk about omni-channel marketing, they have teams behind them, you know, the Gary V's, the Neil Patels, like they talk about this, but they have teams behind them, right? And I mean, for a lot of us, we're just starting out. You don't have a team if you're, you know, if you're just starting out and you're building your personal brand. However, you create a content strategy. That's where the strategy comes in again. You can absolutely repurpose, you know, your same content across all platforms. You just have to tweak it to fit within the specifications of those different platforms, and like to tailor it to those different audiences across different platforms. Our next don't and do is do not try to appeal to everyone, and do learn who your audience is and find your tribe. Don't try to appeal to everyone, because as they say, if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one, okay, boo boo? What you want to do is what really helped me is to actually sit down and get super clear and actually do some research. Listen to your audience, listen to the people who are actually commenting on your stuff. Or if you don't have any audience yet, what you want to do is to go to places where you think that your audience are hanging out. So that's on similar accounts to yours, or similar people that you aspire to be like, you know, the people who you really look up to. Look at their audience, look at the comments on their videos or on their posts, you know, on Instagram and stuff like that. Look at what the people are saying. Look at the questions that they're asking. Look at what they are maybe not saying and how you can fill in the gap and help them. Do not try to talk to everybody. I tried it before, it didn't work, because then nobody really knows what exactly you're about. Get very specific in your content, okay? Here's another do and don't for you. So don't try to reinvent the wheel, okay? Don't do it. Everything's been done before. There are 7.5 billion people in this world. Trust that everything has been done before, and that's okay. It can provide you as proof of concept, okay? The fact that somebody came before you and has been successful in an area of life that you want to be successful in, or successful in your niche or a similar niche to you, should tell you like, oh, this is actually a great idea. There's a market for this. Your next do is to own your story, own your truth, and then share your story. You are your unique value proposition. You are what makes you unique. It's you, okay? There's no secrets. You, your story, your experiences, your expertise, you are what makes you different. How you do something is not going to be how the next person does it, right? How you speak, how you talk, how you dress, how you act, what you believe in, what your story is. Hello, nobody else has your story but you. Nobody else has experienced life through your eyes but you. So own that and share that, and that is how you're going to connect with people and really build a strong personal brand. Okay, here's a great don't for you, and let me just come a little bit closer, okay? Let me just come a little bit closer. Don't worry about vanity metrics, people. Don't worry about likes and follows, okay? They don't really matter anymore. People out here, they're buying likes, they're buying followers, they're out here capping on the gram, on the tube, everything, y'all, and it's just not cool, okay? Don't be those people. Don't get so caught up in the vanity metrics that you are willing to really risk the integrity of your brand. So do focus on your metrics, right? Like engagement metrics, the comments, the DMs that you're getting, the amount of people who are saving your stuff, you know, that's letting you know that your stuff is really valuable to people and that they really care about it enough to save it, right? And to share it, your shares, you know, your comments. Look at that. Look at how many people are actually really meaningfully engaging with your stuff. It's so easy to just scroll by and double tap and double tap and double tap, but what you cannot replicate are those really meaningful conversations that you're having in your comments, in your DMs. You know, you can't replicate that. Okay, our second to last personal branding don't worry about your design and your brand aesthetics right off the bat. In the beginning, don't worry about that. Worry about getting your content out there. Content is still king. Content, what I tell my clients is that content is the cake, okay? The cake, all right? Your brand aesthetics, the brand colors, the filters, the pretty typography, the beautiful fonts, the beautiful photography, all that is just the icing on the cake. That means nothing without the cake, okay? You can always improve and invest in brand design in the future and as you grow and as you grow, okay? But don't let that stop you in the beginning because you don't have the prettiest filters or you don't understand how to use Photoshop. Nobody expects you to in the beginning anyway, so nobody really cares. You don't have to have everything perfect when you first start. And honestly, FYI, it's never gonna be perfect. Do create meaningful content around, you know, your brand, because that's going to be the heart and soul of your brand is your content. Share your story, put your work out there, man up, woman up, okay? Share your heart, be vulnerable, be open, create that authentic, relatable, and transformative content that we talked about last week. And that is gonna help you to really build a brand that lasts, that sticks. So our last do and don'ts of our 10 do's and don'ts of personal branding are: don't rush to get started on some platform just because everybody else is doing it, because you're gonna burn out, you're not gonna be consistent, and that's not gonna help you build your brand at all. Just get started though. Don't keep delaying and planning and using and being in analysis paralysis and planning all your life away and trying to have every little nitty-gritty detail ironed out. No, you have to just get started to make any of this pop. No one in the history of everyone, okay, ever said that they knew exactly what they were gonna do when they first started out. They knew exactly what kind of content that was gonna take off for them. So you have to get started. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, the 10 personal branding do's and don'ts. Hope you enjoyed them. Next week, you're in for a treat because we're gonna talk about the #1 platform to use to build your personal brand. So I'll see you next time, and until next time, y'all, make sure that, first of all, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and share with a friend, okay? Because sharing is definitely caring. And until next time, make sure that you do everything with purpose, because that is the only way that you're gonna make a difference in this world. Thanks for watching. Peace.